Now, last week I unboxed perhaps what is the best ultra portable I've ever used. I know that's a pretty bold statement, but I've been using the Dell XPS 13 2020 for the past few days, and I've been really putting it through its paces, doing all my tests that I normally do, and boy, did it come through with flying colors. I knew it was something special when I unboxed it, but I didn't realize how good it was going to be. Hey everybody, this is Andrew, and this is my review of the Dell XPS 13, all new for 2020. Coming up. Want to see more videos like this? Why not hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification bell? This way you'll be alerted every time I post a new video. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram. That's where I post all the latest updates. And make sure you check out my unboxing and first look video. I go over things I won't cover here. I'll put the link below where you can check it out. Pricing starts at $1249.99, and the price of the review unit that I'm testing today is $1749.99. I'll put the link below for more information and where you can buy one. All right, let's start off with the display. It is excellent, a 13.4-inch Infinity Edge display with a resolution of 1920 by 1200. That's a Full HD Plus resolution and a 16:10 aspect ratio. Now you can get a UHD Plus or 4K resolution, and I don't know if you necessarily need it. Unless you absolutely have to have a 4K display, I would actually recommend the Full HD Plus. You'll do better in battery life, and besides, this is an excellent display in its own right. It's got some really deep black, some very vibrant colors, excellent contrast, and it covers the color gamut really well. 100% sRGB, 77% Adobe RGB, 78% of the DCI P3 wide color gamut, and 72% NTSC, making this an excellent choice for those creative professionals that do Lightroom, Photoshop, and of course, video editing. Now, Dell claims that this display will get up to 500 nits in terms of brightness. I actually got 525 nits in my measurements, making this one of the best for both indoor and outdoor use. It's extremely bright. And it's an anti-reflective display, no unnecessary glare or reflections. You gotta love that. And I love the fact that this is a 4-sided Infinity Edge display. What that means is you now have 4 equal bezels, no longer have that bigger bezel on the bottom that you found in last year's model. Now, my review unit has a very responsive touch display. I thought it worked really well. Now, I couldn't get any pen to work with it, so it doesn't look like it has any pen support. If you need pen support, check out the Dell XPS 13 2-in-1 that we reviewed late last year. Now, I absolutely love the design of this year's XPS 13. It's thin, it's light, it's sleek looking. I like the frost white. I also like the platinum silver, but the frost white shows much less fingerprints, hardly any actually. Okay, there are some key differences from last year's model when it comes to ports. You lose one of the USB-C Thunderbolt 3 ports. You now only get 2, one on each side of the device. And you also lose the battery indicator button. I kind of like that with the XPS line in the past. I'm a little bit disappointed it didn't make it into this year's model. Now, there's no USB-A port on this laptop, but they do give you a USB-A to USB-C adapter in the box. Also missing is the Kensington lock port. Not a big deal in my book. Now, the good news is the 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports on the current device do support 4 lanes, so if you want to connect to an external GPU, Thunderbolt 3 docks, multiple 4K monitors, you have that option. And on the bottom, there are 2 heat vents on each side. It worked really well in terms of cooling. Okay, let's talk about the performance. I'm actually impressed. It has Intel's 10th generation Ice Lake processor, the Core i7-1065 G7, 16 gigabytes of LPDDR4X RAM, 512 gigabytes of M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD storage, and it has Intel Iris Plus graphics. That's only available to the i7. If you go for the Core i5, you will not get the Intel Iris Plus graphics on the new Dell XPS 13. So please keep that in mind. And the reason that's important is Intel Iris Plus graphics gives you a nice little boost when it comes to graphics horsepower. Doing things such as Microsoft Office, email, web browsing all worked well. Video editing, 1080p video editing worked well, although 4K video editing I wouldn't do with this laptop unless you do connect to an external GPU via one of the two Thunderbolt 3 ports. Now, as far as gaming is concerned, you can play some of the older titles if you lower the settings, although playing the AAA titles in its highest settings is not really feasible with this laptop. But of course, this is not a dedicated gaming laptop. Again, you always have the option to connect to an external GPU. Now this has dual fans, and when it comes to thermals, I thought they did a very good job, although it is a thin and light laptop and you will notice thermal throttling when you really push it to the limit. Now the fans will kick in under heavy load, not too loud, not too annoying, so that's pretty good. Now I went over how to upgrade this laptop, how to get inside this laptop in my unboxing video, so if you didn't check it out, do so. I'll put the link in the video description below, but it's pretty easy. But once inside, only thing that is upgradable is the SSD, although you do get some very good reads and writes as you can see from these results. Now once inside, you will notice the dual fans, the 52 watt-hour battery. It also has Killer Wireless 6 along with Bluetooth 5.0. The Killer Wireless 6 worked well as far as range, and as far as downloads, uploads go, it worked very good. As far as the Bluetooth 5.0, range was very good, the connection stayed strong. Now, unfortunately, the RAM is soldered into the motherboard, so you won't be able to upgrade that, but you can get it with 8, 16, or even 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. Now, the 32 gigabyte option is not yet available as a configurable option, but from what Dell says, it will be coming very soon. Now, when it comes to the keyboard, big improvements across the board. Now, what we're seeing here is a much better keyboard than what we saw on the Dell XPS 13 2-in-1 in late October of last year. And this is so much better in terms of key travel, in terms of tactile feedback. And this time around, they managed to stretch the keyboard all the way to the edge. I like that. Gives you more comfortable typing space on this laptop. One thing to note is that they put the power button within the keyboard itself now. It's a power button that doubles as a fingerprint scanner. Some people might not like that placement because of its proximity to the delete key. And the multi-stage backlight lights up really well, giving you the ability to work in a dark room or a dimly lit environment. And I also appreciate the fact that the glass touchpad is now 17% bigger, great for scrolling with 2 fingers, great for Windows 10 gestures. Everything worked really well. It was very responsive. Now, I will be talking about this in a separate video, but this is the Dell Mobile Connect, and what this allows you to do is take your Android phone or your iPhone and connect it to your XPS 13 via Bluetooth, allows you to get text messages, allows you to transfer files. It worked really great. Again, stay tuned for a separate video on the Dell Mobile Connect. Well, what can I say? Not a very good webcam, 720p, 30 frames per second. Good news, it is in a proper place, no longer up your nose or chin cam like we saw years ago. It's above the display in a very small bezel. Pretty amazing engineering to put a Windows Hello infrared camera in such a small space. But as far as Skype and video conferencing is concerned, it'll get the job done. It's just not very good. But I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comments section below. Now, I did a sound test in my unboxing video, so check it out if you haven't done so. But for those that didn't, there are 2 bottom-facing speakers. They get loud, good mids, good bass, and it does fill up the room rather nicely. It uses Waves MaxxAudio, and again, I think it sounded really good. So I think they did a good job when it comes to the audio. The Dell XPS 13 2020 has a 52 watt-hour battery, which is a pretty nice size for a very thin and light laptop, and it did 10 hours and 12 minutes on my continuous web surfing test over Wi-Fi at 150 nits, which is very good. It's all-day battery life, but of course your mileage may vary depending on what you do with this laptop. But if you do need to plug in, the 45-watt power adapter they do supply you in the box does charge really quickly, giving you a full charge in less than 2 hours, which is really good. So to wrap it all up, can I recommend the all-new Dell XPS 13 here for 2020? And the answer is a resounding yes. I love its gorgeous 13.4-inch Full HD Plus Infinity Edge Touch display. I like the improved keyboard. I like the excellent precision touchpad. And I love the fact that it has a 16:10 aspect ratio. I like its thin and light design, stunning looks, and its all-day battery life. Throw in some impressive speakers, and you have yourself a winner. Now, of course, there are a couple of negatives. There's no USB-A port, the RAM is not user upgradable, and it can get expensive. But those are no real deal breakers in my book, ladies and gentlemen. This is my editor's choice for the ultra portable category, and for that reason I'm going to give this a score of 97%, making the all-new Dell XPS 13 9300 worth your money. So what do you think about this bad boy, the Dell XPS 13 9300, all new for 2020? And I gotta say, this is one badass ultra portable. This thing is amazing. Now, one of the things I love about it, let's start off with its looks. The frost white with that woven glass fiber interior, it looks really great. And one of the things I like about it more than the black carbon fiber version is the fact that it shows a lot less fingerprints, a lot less smudges, and that to me is a big win. Now, as far as the exterior is concerned, it really looks nice. It's thin, it's really easy to carry around, throw it in your bag, but it feels premium. Very good build quality, excellent build construction. You can't complain. Now, one of the things you're gonna love about it, it's 10th generation Ice Lake processor. I have the Core i7 with Intel Iris Plus graphics, and boy, it did really well. Thermals were pretty good, but of course, keep in mind, this is an ultra portable, extremely thin and light, and of course, you will see thermal throttling if you really push it, especially when you're playing games and really graphics intensive applications. So you will see some throttling, but that's to be expected with any thin and light laptop. Now, as far as battery life is concerned, you're looking at all day battery life, more than 10 hours on my continuous web surfing test. Of course, everybody's mileage may vary depending on what you do with this laptop, but you should expect all day battery life. And that to me is another big win. Now, when it comes to the display, it is absolutely gorgeous. The four-sided Infinity Edge display, even bezels all around, extremely thin bezels, 16:10 aspect ratio, resolution of 1920 by 1200. I absolutely love it. I don't think you need to go with that UHD plus resolution unless you are doing graphic artistry or you're doing any kind of video editing. I think this will do it really well, especially with this full HD plus display. It's a touch display that's really responsive, and it is excellent. You lose that battery indicator button, which was, of course, a hallmark on the XPS line for years past. You no longer get that. But they do improve the keyboard exponentially, especially if you compare it to the XPS 13 we reviewed late last year. With that maglev keyboard, I really didn't like it. This is so much better. This uses a more traditional style keyboard with scissor style keys, and I gotta tell you, it was really comfortable to type on. Nice backlight on it. Everything worked really well. What do you think of the Dell XPS 13, all new for 2020? I gotta say, this is my editor's choice for the ultra portable, thin and light laptop so far for 2020. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.